and gentlemen, I want to reveal to you today that that script that Sifuna carries is also a cover-up of the real deal that was scripted behind closed doors. Ladies and gentlemen, this 10-point agenda is not what was scripted. It's not the real deal. The real deal is behind the doors, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. This is Vox Politica, your Kenyan #1 YouTube political channel, where we unpack Kenyan's most biggest political headlines. My name is Jacob Nyende. Now today, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to dive into unpacking a political propaganda that is being fueled by Edwin Sifuna under the instruction of Raila Odinga and William Ruto to shift your attention from the really corruption and atrocities the two are committing to our country. Now, before we dive too deep into this discussion, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite you to subscribe to this channel. You are here the first time, you are here, you are a returning subscriber, you are here and you are yet to subscribe. Take 1 second, hit the subscription button, smash the notification bell, and also press the like button on this video. By doing that, ladies and gentlemen, you will have supported me to reach a wider audience, and that is my exact goal. Now, coming back to our topic, ladies and gentlemen, Edwin Sifuna has repeatedly and not once said that ODM is not in government. Ladies and gentlemen, you and me know that ODM is in government. Now, Sifuna, not on one or two occasions, has alleged multiple times that ODM is not in government. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a plain lie, and we can all attest to that. Not unless the redefinition of
wakati nafanya kazi yangu, wengine wanasema Sifuna anapinga, Sifuna anapinga. Ile kitu najua baba aliniambia ya kwamba even after we donated our experts to government, ODM is not in government. Alisema mwenyewe. Na atarudia hapa. If ODM is not in government, the Secretary General of ODM cannot be in government. Hawa jamaa wetu, marafiki zetu wako kwa serikali. Mimi ile serikali najua ni serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ambayo ilichaguliwa chini ya uongozi wa William Ruto. Ulisema 2027 chama cha ODM lazima kiwe kwenye debe. Those are the instructions I take. Fortunately for me as SG, I take instructions from one center. The day those instructions change, you will hear from me. Thank you very much.
ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna has consistently and publicly claimed that ODM is not in government. He has made this allegation not once, not twice, but on several occasions. However, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Multiple ODM leaders, multiple ODM members have been appointed into powerful positions in William Ruto's administration. Ladies and gentlemen, not unless we have changed the redefinition of being in government, then we all know that this is a very big lie that's being propagated by Edwin Sifuna. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call political propaganda in politics. The repetition of a lie until it's accepted by the public as a truth. Ladies and gentlemen, the tactic does not stop there. This tactic goes ahead by adding what we call media flooding. Flooding endless noise in the public media to shift the citizens' attention from the real issue. And that's exactly what Sifuna is doing, ladies and gentlemen. Continuous repeating of falsehood, creating what we call smoke screens, and shifting the public attention from the truth. But ladies and gentlemen, we are asking ourselves a critical question. What is the agenda? What are they hiding in all these political rhetorics, in all this political propaganda? What is the real deal behind closed doors? Now, as they do this, ladies and gentlemen, they don't want you to know the following. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, they don't want you to focus on the corruption scandals that are happening behind closed doors. They also not want to focus your attention on the nepotism that is being practiced by these two leaders in the government appointments. We have seen how those who are loyal to Raila have been given appointments into the national government. Do you want to tell me that other Kenyans do not qualify to serve in the same position? Nepotism is on the rise in these two government dealing. Ladies and gentlemen, they also don't want you to focus your attention on the inequality that is being employed in distribution of national resources. We saw how Mbadi himself, the appointed minister for treasury, said clearly how Kisumu has benefited massively since they got into this government.
When I joined your government, Your Excellency, I joined your government when we know that in Kenya we have only 3 known level 6 hostels. Kenyatta National Hospital, Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, and Jomo Kenyatta University Hospital. The hospital that used to be called New Nyanza, it used to be called Russia, New Nyanza, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, is one of the oldest hospitals in this country. No any government had ever thought that our people should not be taken all the way to Eldoret for treatment because we cannot develop our own in Kisumu. Immediately I came into your government, Your Excellency. This was approved for upgrade to level 6. And I'm the cabinet secretary in charge of National Treasury who signed the cabinet memorandum to come to the cabinet, and you approved it as a chairman of the cabinet. It became level 6. Now listen to this. Every year, Anyang' Nyong'o gets 8 billion shillings. And he was allocating that hospital 300 to 400 million shillings every year. Right now, by that hospital going to national government, in this budget, we have allocated from national government 3 billion 265 million shillings. Almost 3 times what used to go into that hospital. Now you tell me that we should remain in the streets?
Ladies and gentlemen, as they share the national cake among their inner circles and loyal friends, they use Sifuna to distract you from the real issue here with his petty politics and baseless attacks.
ODM, we have said repeatedly, including as recently as when we were in Mombasa for an event there with Honorable Raila Odinga, that ODM exists to fight for political power in these democratic processes. We still intend, we have not given up our quest to lead this country. So we will be in the field to face whoever it is else will be there, including President William Ruto. And the natural consequence of that is we will make him a one-term president because we want to grab that power from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to ask ourselves these 3 critical questions. If Sifuna is really acting alone, why has Raila Odinga not reprimanded him? Why is Raila Odinga supporting his continued rhetorics, his continued deception of the public, that ODM is not in government, that himself, Sifuna, does not recognize the broad-based parliament, the blood-based government relationship?
Yes, in a political party, there's always differences of opinion on some issues. But the political party itself must have a firm stand on a particular issue. And that's why people can talk and talk this way and this way. Ultimately, there's an official position that will be articulated by the party. And the spokesman of the party is usually the Secretary General, Mr. Sifuna. When Mr. Sifuna speaks, he's speaking on behalf of the party. But then, Mr. Sifuna, saa ingine hapana kuwa chungu sana. So, we have a firm stand, we have an arrangement with Kenya Kwanza.
The question number 2, ladies and gentlemen, will be, if Raila Odinga is benefiting from this relationship with William Ruto, and they are together, and Sifuna is in his own. Why has William Ruto not confronted Raila about this continued attack from his base? Why is the public, ladies and gentlemen, why is me and you being bombarded by noise of Sifuna in the social media, all over, on Citizen TV, on the parliament, in funerals, that ODM is not in government? This narrative, while deals, great deals, are being made behind closed doors. As the day goes on, ladies and gentlemen, the answers to this question becomes clear. That Edwin Sifuna is pushing a secret agenda between these two camps that once opposed each other. He is the umbrella that is covering, he is the curtain that is covering their evil doings, their evil deals, their evil discrimination, nepotisms, the squandering of national resources, the stealing of Kenyan resources by these two leaders. Sifuna is the cover. He is the cover-up, he's the distractor of our attention. He has been sent to shift our attention from what they are doing, the nepotism in public appointments, ladies and gentlemen. The government is full of William Ruto's persons and Raila Odinga's people. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to bring it to your attention that even the 10-point agenda that was scripted between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, that Sifuna keeps on referring to, he keeps on carrying that script to news medias, to media houses whenever he has an interview. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to reveal to you today that that script that Sifuna carries is also a cover-up of the real deal that was scripted behind closed doors. Ladies and gentlemen, this 10-point agenda is not what was scripted. It's not the real deal. The real deal is behind the doors, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the points, I think the point number 2 or 4 in that 10-point agenda, says that they want to have what we call economic investment in youths. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you where you are. Have you seen any youth programs being rolled by these two leaders, ladies and gentlemen? In that document, ladies and gentlemen, they say they want to fight corruption. In that document, they say we need to have equal distribution of national resources. Ladies and gentlemen, is that what is happening on the ground? That is totally different on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why we need to raise our eyeballs and ask these critical questions to our leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Let's examine the benefits of Raila Odinga in all this so-called blood-based government, bread-based government and blood-based government, ladies and gentlemen. From this deal, ladies and gentlemen, Raila Odinga camp is benefiting with the jobs. We have seen government appointments to senior positions, powerful positions, being given to Raila Odinga's allies and family members. All right, we have seen even Oburu Odinga being given the position, the agricultural committee chairmanship that was being held by Wamatinga, who was hosted out of that committee for the one reason of supporting Gachagua. Ladies and gentlemen, the Raila Odinga camp also benefits on tenders and special projects, and also doing special projects in their regions, in their strongholds. As Mbadi himself, the treasurer CS, confirmed to us that they have sent a lot of billions in Kisumu and in the Nyanza region counties. Ladies and gentlemen, what does William Ruto benefit from all this? Now, William Ruto gets a clear pass now to steal more, all right, and borrow more, since the watchdog, the one who was supposed to be the watchdog, Raila Odinga, has now joined William Ruto at the dining table, and they are all busy squandering and eating our national cake, as they use Sifuna, on the other hand, to come and make a lot of political noise and baseless attacks, rhetorics, propaganda, to shift our attention from the real fact that Raila Odinga and his camp are sitting with William Ruto at the dining table, and they are eating what we are supposed to share, all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what Sifuna is doing. Are you not seeing it? Are you not seeing it, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, as Sifuna is busy parroting all these political rhetorics and these political agendas and the noise on social media and everywhere in political rallies and funerals, and the real game is being played in the background, ladies and gentlemen. Raila Odinga and William Ruto are in the background calculating, looting national resources, empowering their stronghold economic regions, ladies and gentlemen, while other Kenya marginalized areas continues to suffer. For how long shall we continue like this, ladies and gentlemen? And therefore, this is a call that we wake up, and when we are going to make our decision 2027, ladies and gentlemen, let's stand up and choose the leaders that will have the interest of the people at heart, not political thuggeries who come and steal from us, loot our resources, and make our lives so difficult, pathetic, and miserable. Ladies and gentlemen, what you are witnessing is not just politics. This is a well-crafted political deception. It is a grand illusion, ladies and gentlemen, that is meant to distract you and me from the injustices and the corruptions and the nepotism that is being practiced by Raila Odinga and William Ruto. As these two leaders meet behind closed doors, ladies and gentlemen, to eat, you and me, ladies and gentlemen, we are left with rising taxes to pay. We are left jobless, ladies and gentlemen. And above all, ladies and gentlemen, we are also left with empty promises by the government and Raila Odinga. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, let us open our eyes and break the silence. I want to know what your thoughts are in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see and know what a Kenyan like you think about all this deception by Sifuna in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, keep the conversation going. And of course, I want to request you again before I leave, ladies and gentlemen, to take just 1 second and subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, and also hit that subscription button, smash the notification bell, ladies and gentlemen, and press the like button. Just by doing like that, you will have helped me to reach a broader audience, and that is exactly my goal, that this message should reach many of us. My name is Jacob Nyende, and this is Vox Politica. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to see you in our next video. And of course, do not forget to like, subscribe, and also share this video. Until next time, bye-bye.